Assembling a Mamava Solo Lactation pod requires at least 2 people who can easily lift weight overhead and about 90 minutes to complete. In this video, we'll walk you through everything you need to know and share some helpful tips along the way. To assemble your Mamava Solo Lactation pod, you'll need the following tools: a cordless drill with a No. 2 Phillips bit to be used for crate disassembly only, an adjustable wrench, up to 17 millimeters, a 2 to 6 foot step ladder, a flathead screwdriver, a No. 2 Phillips head screwdriver, the 5mm hex key that comes with your pod, and the 5/32 inch hex key that also comes with your pod. Hot tip: you may want to wear lightweight gloves. We do not recommend using power tools to assemble the pod, as these can damage the hardware. To begin the assembly process, you'll need to move the shipping crate as close as possible to the final pod location. Hot tip: depending on the size of your door opening, you may need to carry boxes to your installation site. Use a cordless drill with a No. 2 Phillips bit to remove the screws from the crate cross braces, then the end panels, and finally the side panels of the crate. Set aside the cross braces. Open box number 1. Inside, you'll find your assembly instructions, lock manual, lock key, hex keys, and hardware, as well as a damage claim form. Save the lock documents for future use. As you open boxes throughout the assembly process, inspect for damage that may have occurred during shipping. If you discover any damaged product, please use the damage claim form included with your pod's documentation. Set aside the packaging to be recycled. If you plan on disassembling and moving the pod in the future, we recommend you put all the packaging materials in storage. It's time to find the perfect place for your Solo Lactation pod. Once assembled, the Solo pod will measure 4 feet wide, 4 feet deep, and 7 feet 4 inches tall. We recommend a few extra inches of ceiling clearance for the assembly process. The pod also requires one 15-amp, 120-volt electrical outlet. Once you've chosen the site for your Solo, unpack the base from box number 2. Protect the vinyl side of the base by setting it face down on leftover cardboard packaging. Remove caster wheels from box number 9. Use a 5mm hex key to fasten all 4 caster wheels to the bottom of the base with the M8x20 button head cap screws. You'll use 4 screws per wheel. Now turn the base over so that the vinyl side is facing up while removing the cardboard. Adjust the leveling feet by rotating them clockwise by hand until they touch the floor. Adjust the leveling feet so they extend an inch beyond the caster wheels. Make sure the base is level and stable. If the base wobbles, you'll want to adjust the height of the leveling feet. Next, lock each foot in place by tightening the nuts with an adjustable wrench until flush with the frame of the base. Hot tip: if you have trouble tightening the nuts, turn the base on its side. Once all the nuts are tight, return the base back to its position and make sure it's level and stable. Now that you have a stable foundation for the Solo, it's time to prepare the wall plug wiring. First, unpack the GFCI cord from the plastic bag of parts. Route the orange end of the GFCI cord up through the round hole in the base, leaving approximately 2 feet of cord inside. Leave the GFCI plug outside the pod. Check that the GFCI plug can reach the nearby outlet, but don't plug it in yet. Now we'll show you how to attach the wall panels and door. Start by unpacking the back wall panel from box number 3. Set the bottom of the back wall panel inside the back channel of the base at a 45-degree angle, then stand into place. The aluminum flange on the pod base should be visible at the bottom of the wall. The screw holes at the bottom of the back wall panel should line up with the notches in the aluminum flange. Once in place, it's a good idea for one person to hold the wall panel. Use a flathead screwdriver to fasten the back wall panel to the base with 2 M8x55 flange head bolts. If the bolt doesn't tighten, you may need to adjust the alignment of the wall panel. Loosely tighten for now, you'll secure later. Next, unpack the left wall panel from box number 3. Place the bottom of the wall panel into the left channel and slide back until flush with the back wall panel. The holes should line up with the notches in the aluminum flange. Starting from the top, use a flathead screwdriver to fasten the left wall panel to the back wall and the base with 4 M8 by 55 flange head bolts. Loosely tighten for now, you'll secure later. Next, remove the coat hook from the plastic bag of parts. Align the 2 holes in the coat hook with the 2 holes on the wall. Use a Phillips head screwdriver and 2 number 8 by 5/8 inch Phillips pan head screws to attach the coat hook. Now, unpack the right wall panel from box number 3. Place the bottom of the wall panel into the right channel and slide back until flush with the back wall panel. The holes should line up with the notches in the aluminum flange. Starting from the upper right, use a flathead screwdriver to fasten the wall panel to the base and back wall panel with 4 M8 by 55 flange head bolts. Loosely tighten for now, you'll secure later. Unpack the door from box number 4 and locate the door handles from the plastic bag of parts. Slide the door handle onto the lock until it clicks. Repeat this step for the interior handle. Finally, place the door on the base so that the bottom aluminum flange sits on top of the threshold and the aluminum corners align with the left and right wall panels. Use a flathead screwdriver to fasten the door to the left and right walls with 4 M8 by 55 flange head bolts. Fasten the top left and right bolts first, then fasten the lower left and right bolts. Loosely tighten for now, you'll secure later. Hot tip: it may be helpful to have a second person push on the door and/or the side walls to help line up the holes. Use a flathead screwdriver to fasten the door to the base with 2 M8 by 55 flange head bolts. To access the second hole, open the door by entering 8008 on the keypad. Keep the door propped open. It may be helpful to use the deadbolt to do so. Loosely tighten for now, you'll secure later. Now it's time to install the roof frame. Unpack the 3-sided roof frame from box number 5. Remove the roof panel from the roof frame and set aside. Next, remove the antennas from the plastic parts bag taped next to the pod control device. If you have the Solo base model, skip this step. Attach the 2 antennas to the top of the pod control device, with the shorter antenna closest to the power cord. Now, orient the roof frame with the fan towards the back wall panel. If you have the antennas, they should be upright and face the ceiling. Hand the roof frame over the top of the pod to the person on the ladder. At this point, it's useful to have a third person help lift. Slide the roof frame inside the top of the wall panels until the aluminum flange caps the top of the wall. The wires should hang inside at the back left corner of the pod. Use a flathead screwdriver to secure the roof frame to the left, back, and right walls with 6 M8 by 55 flange head bolts. Once the roof frame is in place, use the flathead screwdriver to fully tighten all of the exterior bolts. Bolts should be secure, but stop tightening if the wall panels begin to dimple. Finally, connect the 2 wires at the top left of the door frame and the 2 wires at the top right of the door frame. Then tuck them into the channel. If you have the Solo base model, skip this step. It's time to wire your Solo and connect the lighting fixture. To begin, enter the pod. If the door isn't propped open, use 8008 on the keypad. Once inside, uncoil the black power cord from the back left corner of the roof frame and let it drop to the floor. Uncoil the red and black wire from the back left corner of the roof frame. Next, remove the aluminum wire cover from box number 4. Insert the loose end of the red and black wire through the hole at the top of the wire cover. Make sure the black power cord is hanging behind the wire cover. Then snap the wire cover into the back left corner and slide it up until it touches the roof frame. Place the light fixture into position at the top of the back wall with the plug towards the left wall. The 3 holes in the light fixture should line up with the 3 holes in the back wall. While one person holds the light fixture, use a 5mm hex key to fasten it to the back wall with 3 M8 by 35 button head cap screws. Finally, Connect the two wires in the left corner of the light fixture. It's time to install the roof panel. It's light colored, so be sure your hands are clean before you handle it. Lift the roof panel over the top of the pod. Guide the panel under the metal corner brackets and bolts, but on top of the small aluminum flange in the center of the roof frame. Unpack the seat parts from box number 6 and all the seat components from box number 8. Next, use a 5mm hex key to connect the left and right sides of the seat frame to the base with 4 M8x35 button head cap screws. Loosely tighten for now, you'll secure later. Then, snap the front of the seat frame into place with the blue edge facing down. Tighten the 4 M8x35 button head cap screws on the right and left sides of the seat frame. Place the seat back on its side. Use a Phillips head screwdriver and 2 1/4 inch by 2 inch Phillips pan head screws to fasten it to the seat base. Finally, position the assembled seat over the base frame, align the corners and plastic connectors, and press down firmly to snap it into place. Now it's time to install the shelf and laptop desk. First, unpack the shelf from box number 1 and remove the red zip tie from the coil of wires. Separate the shelf top from the frame by pulling up firmly. Next, align the shelf frame with the back wall panel. Make sure the black cord on the left is hanging loosely and not pinched behind the shelf frame. Starting with the outside holes, use a 5mm hex key to fasten the shelf frame to the back wall panel with 4 M8x35 button head cap screws. Connect the black wire that exits the wire cover into the power supply located on the back of the shelf fascia. Hold the shelf top above the shelf frame and connect the male orange plug extending from the side of the outlet box into the female orange plug on the end of the GFCI cord. Then insert the black male plug from the side of the outlet box into the power supply. Align the plastic snaps on the shelf top with the shelf frame and press down firmly. Unpack the laptop desk from box number 8. Hold the laptop desk up flat against the wall. Use a 5mm hex key to attach the laptop desk to the right wall panel with 4 M8x20 button head cap screws. Now it's time to complete the assembly process and make sure your Solo lactation pod is fully functional. If you assembled the pod away from its final location, you'll need to move it to the desired spot. If moving using the caster wheels, loosen the nuts on the leveling feet with an adjustable wrench. Turn the leveling feet until they are off the floor and the caster wheels are engaged. Once the pod is in its final location, lower the leveling feet so that the caster wheels are no longer on the floor and tighten the nuts into place using an adjustable wrench. Next, insert the power plug on the exterior of the pod into the GFCI wall outlet and press the reset button on the plug. Test access with your keypad code by entering 8008 to unlock the door. If you have the Solo base model, skip this step. Step inside to activate the motion sensor and make sure the lights and fans turn on. The lights and fans will stay on for 30 minutes after sensing motion. Check that all outlets, including the USB port, work. Check that the deadbolt engages fully and easily. Finally, make sure the door latches but doesn't slam. Hot tip: to increase the door closure speed, close the door and insert a 5/32" hex key in the top of the hinge. Push down and rotate clockwise. To decrease the door closure speed, rotate counterclockwise. Congrats! You've successfully installed your Mamava Solo lactation pod.